Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another fascinating Assetto Corsa Competizione race we have tonight. It's usually 50 people on the track. We've got around 44 people in at the moment as they're racing through the legendary circuit of Silverstone. You're joined by myself, Debug, and we have a special guest tonight. We've got Xerax, who is from Racing Sim Tools. Hello, Xerax. How are you?
I'm doing good, Debug. Thank you for the introduction.
Oh, you broke up there, Xerax. You all right? Oh, I'm not sure if Xerax is here anymore. I can't hear him. Well, if once Xerax gets back, we are basically joined today. We are joined by Xerax. He's going to be talking to us hopefully in the foreseeable future about some bits and bobs he's got to share with us on track today. We have got the main contenders today with us. From the start, we've got let's just have a look. We've got Kevin Cox, Andy Sand, Jake Moore, Don Jordan, all these people today. I'm really looking forward to seeing racing and really looking forward to getting out there and seeing what they can do for us. We'll just check. Xerax, are you back with us?
Yeah, can you hear me, Debug?
I can hear you loud and clear now, mate. Welcome back. I don't know what happened there. You just went totally quiet.
Oh, no, that's not good.
But how are you anyway, Xerax? Welcome to the commentary tonight. And what we wanted to talk about is obviously racing at Silverstone tonight. Most of us Brits who are watching tonight, we pretty much know where it is, what it was done, what the purpose of it. We all know Silverstone circuit was built on a World War II Royal Air Force bomber station, RAF Silverstone, which opened in 1943. The airfield's 3 runways in classic World War II triangle format lie within the outline of the present track. Since its first use in 1940s, the track has undergone several changes. But something really cool tonight, ladies and gents, boys and girls, is we've got Xerax to actually talk to us about the track itself. And we've been lucky enough to get him to actually create some graphics for us tonight, which if you wanted to see if you can take us through that, Xerax, that would be great.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the graphs on for you guys. Oh, and maybe not. I'm not able to control the stream for some reason.
Well, we were trying our best tonight. But that's fine. That's fine. If we can't do it tonight, that's not a problem. But I mean, if you wanted to talk to us a little bit about what it was about, if you can, without us obviously seeing it, that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem. So Silverstone is a very high-speed sensitive track. If we look at the turns and the type of turns here at Silverstone, we're going to find that 32% of the turns here have a high influence from high downforce values. These turns are 100 kilometers per hour plus. So downforce is going to be an absolute crucial part of this race. Being able to keep that chassis for that aero platform nice and stable is going to make a real separation from the people that do really well versus maybe some of the people that have a lot of struggling here today. One corner to look out in particular is going to be turn 12 and 13. That's going to be the turn outside of Abbey's. That is a really high-speed corner, 200 kilometers per hour. If you can take that corner flat, then you're going to be able to carry a lot of speed through there. We did some speed sensitivity tests. You're actually able to gain anywhere between 2 to 3 tenths through there. So really, really high downforce influence here today at Silverstone. Looking at the bumpiness of the track, I think Silverstone was recently repaved, so a lot of it's pretty smooth. However, Maggots through Beckett's in Chapel's Curve, very bumpy area through here. Typical damper speeds of 200 to 250 millimeters per second, so a really important part of the track to keep nice and stable. But other than that, that's all the analysis from Racing Sim Tools. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Debug.
Thank you very much. So when you talk about Abbey, I believe what we're seeing at the moment, we're on board with Cox. Is this the part here where you're seeing Cox coming through that Abbey section there? Was that the part you were talking about?
Yes, exactly. And the reason why is because the exit out of club is a long straight. And then Abbey, if you get a good exit out of club, you're going to carry a lot of speed through Abbey. If you have to lift through Abbey or hit the brakes at all, you're really going to kill your momentum down into turn 14, that tight right-hander. So it's really crucial to carry a lot of speed through there, a lot of time to be gained if you can take it pretty confidently.
Nice, thank you. Cheers, Zerax. It's I think that's do you know what, for myself, when I was racing with these guys the other day, I have to say I was lifting. I need it's all about getting that right approach and hitting that apex at the right time as well, isn't it, when it comes to these cars and carrying it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can actually cut that inside corner quite a bit. You can get onto those curbs to get the car really turned in so you can keep the momentum of the car to push out. You might have to do a slight lift at the apex, but as soon as you can get on that throttle, you're going to save a lot of time down the straight down at turn 14.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. So we're currently on board with Jake Moore, who's currently going fastest at the moment. He's got a best lap time of 1 minute 59.211. Jake is actually also leading the competition at the moment, the league results. He's 230 points ahead of Kevin Cox in second, which has got 185 points, and Rodders in third with 184 points. Alpha GT and Moyes not far behind in fourth and fifth. Alpha in fourth and Moyes in fifth. And Sean Bennett in sixth, Oliver Curtin in seventh, and Carlos Bolanos in eighth, Rigel in ninth, and Sean 60 in 10th. One person I wanted to talk about as well, I was just saying to Zerax while we were here, was actually Don Jordan. So we were following this guy last week on the Hungaroring, and Don Jordan was really strong. He showed really good pace, and he was up there with the top three for quite a while. Unfortunately, through a mistake and through a little bit of traffic, he got caught up and wasn't successful in the end. But Zerax, were you in the race last week, I believe?
I was in the Lamborghini, right around the midfield. It was an absolute crazy action-packed race, non-stop action for a full hour.
Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So did you manage to watch the any of this back and see the actual guys themselves, or was that, did you not want any more of that mental track time?
Oh no, I definitely had to take a few seconds after the race to, take a little break, but I did watch the stream back, and the race for the top three positions was absolutely mental. It looked like it was back and forth for a good half of the race for sure.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. And it was quite interesting because one of the things we always try and do our absolute best when we're commentating is trying to make those sudden trying to find out what happened straight away. And of course we didn't know what happened to Jordan. We thought he'd gotten stuck in traffic, we thought he'd made a mistake in the pits, but what we didn't realize was earlier on in that race he actually hit the back of Jake Moore and span off, and that's pretty much what lost him that race last week in the Hungaroring.
Oh yeah, and traffic was such a big influence in Hungaroring, so I could definitely see where you guys are going with that. But yep, it only takes one little mistake, especially when you're driving at the edge for a full hour. It can be very challenging. So being consistent really pays in the end.
Yeah, and big shout out to everyone watching on the YouTube chat tonight. We are tuned into it, so Taz, Allwin, Unicorn Assassin, David Villa, and Allwin. I've already said Allwin, but we are listening in to you guys tonight. It's great to see there's a lot of love for the drivers through YouTube and a lot of supporters as well. We've already got people going Eugenie go 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 and Menacing Skull for a win. So yeah, it's really nice, and we will try and answer your questions. If you've got any questions for Zerax as well tonight, he does actually do a lot of the whole motorsport in real life and doing tuning and stuff like that. So there you go. He's right there. So any questions, just throw it at him. He'll be more than happy to answer tonight. And shout out to Peter Opera, which is saying go Don Jordan as well. Also, I tell you who I do want to have a look at today. We've got 9 minutes 40 seconds of qualifying to go. That is if he is here. Is he here? Pinpoint. He is actually the guy I'm going to be teaming up with in this 6 hour event coming up. We've got a 6 hour endurance event, and I did say to Pinpoint I was going to be watching him closely tonight. I want to see some decent results, and it looks like he's on a fast lap here, so we might actually make him mess this up. But what's your views on Pinpoint, Zerax, and how he's improved with driving over, I'd say, the last year, to be honest?
Yeah, I've actually raced with Pinpoint quite a bit, and he has definitely increased such a large amount in just a small, like 1 year gap. That's one of the really cool things about RWB that I really enjoy is there's a wide range of skill levels here at RWB, and we all get to race with one another, which really allows people that are maybe new to sim racing to really, talk to some of the faster guys to figure out where they can really improve. So really cool community to be a part of for sure.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. No one ever, whenever we're practicing in these servers, the likes of some of the top people we've got at the moment, Jake Moore, yourself, and others, they're more than happy to sit back in a practice session and actually go on board with you and watch you racing. Pinpoint just crossing the line there. He was a 0.5 up on his previous time, which has given him 2 minute. No, that wasn't up on his time at all. I don't think. Has he actually crossed the line, or am I being a total and utter noob here? Yeah, no, he did cross the line, but that didn't register a new time, so he must have done something. He must have been off at some stage. But let's just go up to the top three again. So currently we've got 159.1 Marco Moyes P1 in the Aston Martin. Oliver Curtin is P2 at 159.178. Jake Moore is in P3 at the moment, 159.211. And Nate Newcomer, 159.3. Xerax, what kind of times do you think these guys will be maxing out? Do you think they've reached their absolute there, or do you think they can squeeze a little bit more out of the track?
That's hard to say. On a really good 30 degrees Celsius track, on a fully rubbered in track, you can expect anywhere of a qualifying time between 57s and 58s. So there's definitely probably some time to be had, but with track conditions varying, it's always really hard to be able to determine how much grip there is on the track at any one given time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just watching Marco Moyes now. It looks like he's held up a little bit by Cos. Our dear old resident Cos there. He's not the quickest racer, but he is consistent, and he will keep it on the grey stuff. So that's not done much good for Marco Moyes' lap there. But he's one to watch as well is Jake Moore. It looks like he's actually, if we're on board with Jake now, it looks like he's. Oh no, he wasn't a fast lap, but he's just ducked down as well. I mean, that's one thing I quite like about this. We can actually see their live times, and we can see whether they're up or down on their qualifying times. One to look for as well is Pepe Garcia. He's currently a 159.9, but he's just improved, and he's going across. I don't know if that's improved him at all or not. It doesn't seem to be updating, but which is never good for me. That still puts him in P7 at the moment. So that was 159.913 there. Shout out as well to Zin. They pain to follow them. And also they want me to play too, but I'm being stubborn and waiting to the game. Oh, you're waiting for a game to be cheaper. I think Assetto Corsa's got Assetto Corsa Competizione's got a lot more scope to expand now as well. I believe there's been talk about GT4 cars coming in. Don't know if you heard that one at all, Xerax, or...
Yeah, I think it's actually planned for the next update. Should add a really cool element to endurance racing for sure.
Nice. That'll be good. That will be good, definitely. I think the Pepe Garcia, it's obviously updated now. He's now in fourth position now. Are they starting from a different place here? I'm just wondering if they're starting not from the normal Abbey club section, and whether it's Cops and Woodcott they're starting from.
Yeah, after they did the repavement, I believe they changed the start-finish line. It's now right before Corpse corner, so right before T9. They moved it back quite a bit.
That would explain why I'm looking at these times going, why hasn't it changed, when I'm used to them obviously starting at the club section of it. So there we go. That was a quick time for Pepe Garcia. He did do a 1 minute 59.421 in the end, which has put him into fourth position. He's sporting the Lexus car tonight. So again, Pepe Garcia, he doesn't look like he's up there with the rest of them at the moment in the actual competition overall. I mean, is there anyone you're looking out for tonight, Xerax, and you've got your eye on?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the battle between Kevin Cox, Rodders, and Alpha GT. They're super close in the points right now. They're pretty much separated by 1 point each, 85, 84, and 83.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see how the race turns out, to see how the championship turns out. I think it's going to be a really exciting battle at the front, but we'll just have to wait and see.
So we got someone asking where's Proctor and Downs at the moment. James Downs, he's in the pits at the moment. He's currently sitting there at a 2-minute 3.027 on the lap times. I can't see where Proctor is. I haven't had a good look at him yet. But let's just have a look at some of the people we've got on track at the moment. We've Moley at the moment. He's on track, currently in 7th position, doing a 1 minute 59.4 on his fastest lap. Also out on track at the moment, we've got Ryan Winch. He's quite a new member to RWB Racing, and he has really won some heads over. In the last couple of months, he's been racing really hard, and he's been racing really fair, and he's definitely, he's got, it's quite nice. His parents even follow him on YouTube while he's racing, which is absolutely awesome. So he's currently in 11th tonight. He's not feeling the love at the moment on track. Carlos Bolanos, we've got currently in 12th position, 159.9 on that one. We have Andy San as well, which we saw some great lively racing from last week in 13th position. Xavier Eugenie, he's just gone into the pits right now. Dave Crew is out on track at the moment in the Lamborghini. He's currently 16th position in a 2-minute 0.333. Menacing Skull is on track. He was getting a shout out earlier on in the Bentley. Menacing Skull, it's great to see him out, and it's great to see him in a different car, to be honest, because there's a lot of Ferraris, there's a lot of BMWs. Actually, there's not a lot of BMWs, but there's a lot of Ferraris, Audis, Mercedes, but not a lot of Bentleys. Justin Madley's on track as well. Justin Madley in 25th position now in the 2-minute 0.9s. Scott Free as well. He's going for some. We've got Tom Proctor in the McLaren car, which I absolutely adore, but I've decided not to use in this. Our good old resident streamer, FX UK, which is we're fortunate enough to have all of this brought to you today by FX's setup. We have my usual candidate when it comes to commentating, Mr. John D, currently in 34th position. Come on, John, don't look bad. 35th, we got Sam Sakel out on track. We got Dan Anderson on track as well in 41st. Our ball, he's just gone into the pits. We got Cos as well. We got 44 cars on track at the moment. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good race tonight. There's a few people I didn't expect to see where they are, to be honest. I thought we'd see, especially from Winch. I think we might have a little bit more action coming from him later on, but with 50 seconds, I guess not actually. What's your thoughts on that, Xerix? Are you surprised to see old Winch down in the position he's in?
Yeah, I was actually expecting him to be maybe in the top 5. So we'll see how the race turns up. Who knows? It could change in the blink of an eye. So qualifying is a really good spot to put someone in a good spot at the races, the start of the race, but it could always change throughout the race.
I tell you, someone who is on a fast lap with 20 seconds to go is Jake Moore. He's 0.2 up on his current time. If he gets this, and if he completes this, Xerax, he will be in P1 for the race. So no pressure here at all watching Jake Moore. He's currently still 0.2 up at the moment, and he just needs to complete this 0.3. He just needs to get this right, ladies and gents, boys and girls, and we might have a new person on P1. And no, or has it just not updated yet? Oh no, wait, I'm being a total and utter noob. I'm still thinking he starts at the old one, but he doesn't. He's got a few more corners to go yet, but he is still up. He's 0.4 up now. We could see the first 1 minute 58 time if this person in front of him doesn't cause him any trouble. We're just watching on track side with him now. He's got Race World in front of him. He's got a slow car in front of him. This could really. Oh, that's I think Xerax, that might have just done him.
Yeah, traffic is going to be such a huge influence here. Unlucky to get that traffic on that hot lap, but he's still going to be starting on the second row, so definitely still in contention.
Desperate. He's absolutely desperate for it. He was 0.5 up. He's now 0.2, and that puts him in 158.9. He still did it. What a superb lap by Jake Moore. That's put him in P1. I think he's done the job he needed to do to get there. Don't you, Xerax?
Yeah, wow, what a lap. Just imagine what would have happened without that traffic there. What a fantastic lap.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be honest with you. I really hope there's rain tonight. Ryan Winch has just said in YouTube commentary, are you guys hoping for rain? I think it would definitely spice it up, Xerax, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about Formula One last year. Mercedes at Hockenheim with the rain. It is the equalizer. People that are fast in the rain are going to be completely different from people that maybe aren't so good in the rain. So it definitely is going to shake things up, and hopefully it rains just a little bit throughout the race.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the session is over. We've got P1 was Jake Moore, P2 Marco Moyes, P3 Oliver Curtin, in fourth Nate Newcomer, fifth Pepe Garcia, sixth Kevin Cox, seventh Molly Mole, eighth Ryan Winch, ninth Don Jordan, and 10th Rigel. So Rigel, he's one to watch as well because he started in 10th last time and he had an absolutely epic fight in the Hungaroring, and he got up to, I think it was fourth in the end, fifth or fourth. He was close to a podium, so he's definitely one to watch tonight. Again, it's all anyone's game at the start of this. They've got an hour to go, so we're just going to get the track ready, get the screen ready, get the right footage, and it'd be nice to see what you guys think, whether you guys want rain or not. I cannot wait. I'm excited already, Xerax.
Yeah, wouldn't be a race in the UK without some rain, would it?
Well, exactly, absolutely. So the poll time, which Piston Cast is asking, I believe Jake Moore did it in a 158.9 in the end. Was the poll? So, Xerax, while I've got you here, I mean, what kind of advice would you be giving to those racers right now as well, when it comes to the start procedure of this, when it comes to what they have to do, what they have to look for? I mean, in my mind, it really is just taking it slow and easy on the first couple of laps and don't do anything crazy.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. If you think about a typical spin, you're going to lose 9 to 10 seconds. So even if you're lifting a little bit more than you would normal just to keep a little distance between you and other cars, you're still only going to lose a few tenths maybe. So long term, it's always better to be on the safe side, be a little bit more cautious, and then try to bring in that pace in later in the race. Another thing to think about here at Silverstone too, might not be as big of a deal here in the dark, but the left rear tire can often get overheated here. In traffic, that's going to even overheat a little bit more. There's a little bit more scrubbing. So tire management is going to be a big influence here today, I think, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're joining us, there's 30 people joining in on the YouTube screening at the moment. We are joined. We've currently got Jake Moore in P1. We've got 44 cars with us on track today on this great circuit that is Silverstone. We've got 1 hour of racing ahead of us. It will be at night. There might be weather. There might not be weather. We might see some rain. We might see some strategy changing. We might see some last-minute dives into the pits coming up. Me and Xerax, we're just uncertain about what's going to happen. We've got Jake Moore currently leading the championship by quite a lead as well. He's 230 points, way over 40, 50 points ahead of Kevin Cox right now, who's also in the Honda NSX. We've got Marco Moyes, which is currently 5th in the championship, but he's next to Jake Moore today. He's going to be contending along with Oliver Curtin and Nate Newcomer. It's great to see Curtin and Newcomer in 3rd and 4th, starting behind 2 great finishers right now, and I'm sure they'll be pretty happy with their position as well. We're just waiting for the session start now. 1 minute 38 seconds to go, and I need another cup of tea. I've already drank my tea already. It's shocking, Xerax. It must be lovely where you are. You must be, if you guys and girls didn't know, Xerax is joining us from over in the stateside. I mean, what? It's 2 o'clock, what time is it there again?
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock here in the afternoon. Nice and perfect time to have a beer or two. Enjoy some racing. You gotta know these racers here are feeling the nerves right now. 1 minute to go. Definitely time ticking. It's definitely nerve-wracking for them.
It's not fair at all. I want it to be. Is it quite nice weather-wise where you are as well?
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. A lot of people don't realize this, but we maybe get 5 to 10 days a year of rain. So the weather is always nice. So there's no variability. So sometimes I often wish that it would rain a little bit more, or just, not so nice every day, which sounds ridiculous to say on stream.
Yeah, brilliant. So what's Jake's best tactic going into the first corner? Because I always find it a bit of an unfortunate thing for two guys in front leading on a rolling start, because they're just going to have to, I take it, they're just going to have to do the absolute best they can and keep their heads down, really, and just hope they don't get shunted from the rear.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be so crucial for the start of this race. Trying to get into Corps. You have to think Maggots and Beckett's are a very tight, high-speed chicane, so you're not going to want to be 2x2 going into those high-speed S's for sure.
Okay, right, we're off. The guys have started their starting positions. Jake Moore is straight away out there. Marco Moyes queuing up behind him. Oliver Curtin almost wants to pounce at Jake as soon as they can. They're about to cross the line and they're away. Not yet, they're not away. Apologies, I was getting too excited then. They will be away in a second. Okay, and there's a green light, they're off. And that is a great start from Oliver Curtin behind Jake Moore. But Marco Moore is trying to go on the outside, but it's not going to happen this time. He's going to have to follow Jake through Maggots with Oliver Curtin still behind him and Nate Newcomer. No real dramas behind him on the back of a pack at all. Going down to Menacing Skull in 11th position with Rigel in front of him. There's no problems there so far. It all looks pretty clean coming out of that there, which is absolutely shocking, to be honest, because we like a good clean start. And going back to Jake Moore, he's just come up to Stowe now, Stowe corner, and it all looks pretty safe and sound for Jake Moore at the moment, with Marco Moyes not far behind him, right behind him actually. Zerax, that was pretty clean racing for the first few corners, I must admit.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought there would be at least a few collisions in Maggots or Beckett's, but fairly clean through the first lap.
It's fantastic as well. There's 44 cars, people. 44 cars racing at night time on Silverstone in a Assetto Corsa Competizione. 44 cars, and they all got through there pretty drama-free. Already between first, second, third and fourth, they're starting to create a gap by the looks of things. And Marco Moyes just went for a dive there, but Jake Moore is wise to it. But they are going to come to this side by side right now. Moyes has got the drive, and he's got it. Moyes has got him past. Yeah, on the inside, that was pretty good. It's so difficult right now, and he looks like he's going again. I can't decide. This is great racing between the two. The top five are just so bunched up right now. And that is now, I believe, Marco Moyes in front of Jake Moore. Is that? The timings are taking a bit of time to update, but we will know in a second. That is Marco Moyes now in front of Jake Moore. I mean, that was some great racing there, Zerax. I don't know how you felt about that, but I was absolutely loving it. Really, really clean, fair racing between the two of them.
Oh, yeah. Jake left that door open just a little bit, and that's all it took for Moyes to get right in there on the inside and make the pass stick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm quite surprised at that, but I guess one thing about Jake Moore is he always plays a cool game in these races. You don't see a lot from him at the start, but I think towards the end and especially towards the middle and the end, he'll start making some pace back up. But Moyes is pretty comfortable there. Let's just take a look at Oliver Curtin as well. He's in third position. He's got a bit of a gap between himself and Jake Moore, but actually Nate Newcomer there. Oh, Nate went in for a late one, and that really didn't work out for him. That was a bit of a silly mistake there. Curtin looked like he left the door open a little bit there, and Newcomer went for it, but he was far too late on those brakes, and that car just didn't want to stop for him. Was a shame there. Was a shame. Kevin Cox currently in 5th position, but I think he's now in 4th position. Kevin Cox, and he's racing. He's racing with Oliver Curtin. Hey, I mean, here's one. Xerax. What position did Ryan Winch start in? I can't quite remember.
I think he was in either P8, or I know he was a little bit farther down now, so he's definitely working his way up. Definitely pays to be consistent, especially in these first laps when the positions are so close to one another.
Yeah, and would you look at it now? He's now in P5. He's definitely worked his way up. He's kept it calm, and guess who's behind him? Don Jordan in the Aston Martin. These two have had their face-to-face matches last race, and they're back in it now. Don Jordan and Ryan Winch. So see how these two fare. But also Don Jordan has got Molly Mole and Pepe Garcia behind him as well, which is leaving him no quarter two. So he won't be able to fight too much as we're looking behind the wing of Ryan Winch right now. Don Jordan is definitely hunting him down, or wants to hunt him down. Again, shout out, Winch was 8th on grid. That's Steve Winch, Ryan Winch's dad, which is watching. Don't know if you knew about Xerax, but his dad watches pretty much every week to give him support.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And Peter Opera, Go Jordan as well. So it's nice to see that fans are rooting for Winch and Jordan. And it looks like Winch left a gap open there, and Jordan almost went for it. He's hungry for it. Could he go on the inside here? Let's just take a look. Does he outbrake him? Jordan does outbrake Winch, and he does take 5th position. That is some great racing. Now that'll be interesting to see what Jordan can do after that, and whether he can create the gap. But well done, Don Jordan, who was in 6th, and he's now up to 5th place. Let's go down a little bit through the track. Another one to watch is RWB Rigel at the moment. He's currently in 9th position, but don't give anything away to Rigel. He can, and he probably will be up there by the end of the race. He's got Pepe Garcia in front of him right now. Again, I mean, Xerax, we were actually talking about this in the qualifying and practice. What's your take? I mean, is there an advantage, a car which has an advantage on this track? I mean, we jokingly said that the Aston Martin, obviously it's on its home ground, but is that a case, or are there different cars better suited for it?
Yeah, no, there's definitely some cars here that play to an advantage here at Silverstone. One thing you have to remember I said Silverstone is a very high downforce sensitive track. So any car that's going to be a little less sensitive to pitch changes is going to have a huge advantage here. So a car such as the Lamborghini, which is really sensitive to any change in pitch, is not going to do so well here. I think the Aston will do very well here, probably Mercedes and the Honda as well.
Lovely, thank you for that. Cheers, cheers for that, Xerax. I'm just trying to give us a few more down the line now. Everyone is pretty bunched up still, all having their own races. We've got John Hall and Andy Satin racing each other right now and getting very close and fruity as well. This is a bit of a split between those two. They're kind of racing on their own with Carlos Bolanos and Menacing Skull and Jonas Bergist as well. Behind these two, but we're just following these two at the moment, and it's absolutely fantastic racing. Sand going on the inside, but he didn't quite make it. And I'm sure he will be having another go in a second against John. And I think they're currently in Maggots and Beckett's, and this is quite a technical turn. Is it Maggots and Beckett's they've just gone to? I'm wrong, aren't I? It's not. They're just coming through Woodcote and down through Cops now. Or is it there? No, it's not. It's. Oh, Xerax, I'm failing today miserably with these turns.
No, it's perfectly fine. I think they just came through club, and they're coming up to the tight turn T14 right now.
That's right. We call this the arena. But they that Maggots and Beckett's. Is there a? I mean, that's always been one of my most favourite parts of a track. Or to any track, because there's a real way you can take that, and it's almost an art taking that section of corners, isn't it? Because you can take the first one pretty much almost foot to the floor, and then you just glide across the others. It's quite a nice bit of circuit.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those types of corners that it has really nice flow to it, has a really good rhythm to it, and it really pays well to those that are brave on the throttle. Being able to take that curb, be a little bit brave on that curb, carry the speed through the corner really pays dividends.
Absolutely. And it's not one to, I mean, Hall and San and that, they should be pretty happy right now. There's a yellow flag being waved, by the way. Not too sure what that's about. There's an accident between cars 616 and 93. Not too sure who they are at the moment, but these guys down in 9th and 10th position, they should be pretty happy how they're racing. Just seeing San there, he might be going for the inside line here if he's got the braking on Hall. We'll soon find out. It doesn't look like he has, though. He's tucked back in. Again, this turning here at Stowe, it's again, it can be very technical. You have to take it just right and at a right angle as well, and then you've got a great drive out of Stowe into the Vale. So, Zerax, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your participation in RWB and what Racing Sim Tools is all about?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing that we try to do at Racing Sim Tools, and we work really closely with RWB, is training. As these sims get a lot more realistic, it's going to be a lot harder for gamers to be able to understand the car dynamics and all the little nuances that come with car dynamics in the real world. One thing that we really try to do is give... Oh, there was almost a contact right there by San. Luckily, he was able to avoid that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one thing that we try to do is we try to teach people how to set up cars. We give them the data that they need to make informed decisions, and that way they have the best possible opportunity. We also have driver development software so that they can identify where they're losing time compared to maybe someone that's a little bit faster to see where they can improve. So just really giving the data to an individual so that they can, focus their practicing and try to get a little bit better.
That's absolutely fantastic, and I believe quite a few members, or there's a community of members. Cos and Charger. That's really unfortunate. I just quickly went on board with Cos because I wanted to have a look and see how he was doing, because he seemed to have quite a clump of cars with him. I don't know whether Cos and Charger are giving each other little love kisses there, or whether they're just doing a little bit of drifting around each other, or what's going on. But I'm not too sure what happened at all. But I think really unfortunate between Cos and who he was racing, because he was racing in a good position there for himself. And I'm not too sure what's happened with Charger as well. I don't know whether Charger is his Charger thrown in the towel for the evening? It would be such a shame if it was, and it is. I'm not too sure what's happened there at all. Charger might actually come down, because he usually does come down into a commentator's ball when something like this happens. But yeah, what I was saying, Zerax, is I think quite a few people do use it already in RWB, don't they? With Racing Sim Tool.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things that we offer with the RWB is we really want to make the tool accessible. So we actually sponsor the league. So anyone that's in the league that wants maybe to download the software, you get a free license for the league, the game that the league is running in. And we have a Discord too, so we try to help as many people as we can. Again, training people, giving people the information they need it pays dividends in the end.
Oh, brilliant. Alwyn's just reported back saying Charger was stuck on the curb. I saw him a lap before. Is that a bug in the game, or is it just you can genuinely get your car stuck on a curb?
Yeah, maybe they could probably very well get stuck on the curb. You have to think these cars run really low ride heights, and that was a big sausage curb into that. I think that was the arena corner. A big sausage curb there, pretty easy to get stuck on.
You know what? Thinking about it now, I do remember a Formula One car actually got stuck last year on one of the curbs as well, but I can't remember for the life of me what car it was, but it was quite funny. So yeah, it does happen, doesn't it? I mean, they do run so low to the ground, these cars, and yeah, it is definitely possible. These cars would definitely not make it over speed bumps in the UK. Definitely not.
Yeah,
Charger.
especially with...
Oh, sorry, Zarax. We're just saying Charger. He's now on the YouTube live chat. Sorry to see you out of race so early, Charger. You're welcome to come down into the channel, into a commentator channel, and talk to us if you want. But sorry, Zarax, you were saying about the cars on the low bumps.
Oh no, I was just going to say the reason they run such low ride heights is they get so much downforce. Almost 65% of the downforce is generated from the underneath aerodynamics of the car. So the lower they can get, the more downforce they're going to produce. So that's why they run so low.
Amazing. Just a quick one. I don't know what has happened, whether Moyes had a bit of an off, but Jake Moore has retaken the lead and is in P1 again. And Marco Moyes, he must have had a slight off because he's 0.7 down on this lap. And he's now 1.5 seconds behind Jake Moore. So he's now running in P1 again. And would you believe it, Zerax, they're already coming up to traffic by the looks of things. I'm not too sure who that will be, but they are coming up to traffic in the next few corners. So that's mad. But they're already on lap 6, and they're coming up to lap cars. So I'm not too sure what happened, but we'll stay on board with more. And it looks like Moyes has got Oliver Curtin for company now as well. I mean, the Bentley's not a... Oliver Curtin, he's driving in the Bentley Continental at the moment. That's not a very highly picked car in this league. Is there any reason as to why that is, Zerax, or is it just personal preference for some people?
I think it might be a personal preference for a lot of people. A lot of people think that the Bentley has a really big car, that it's maybe a little bit sluggish, more like the BMW. But what they don't realize is that's mostly just the bodywork, the panels. They don't really weigh a lot. That car is a lot closer to something like the Mercedes or the AMG than it is to something like the BMW. So I think it gets a little bit of a bad rep. Definitely a good car. It's obviously competitive here at Silverstone. But it is really good to see a lot of variety in the field. I have to agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is it. They are basically stripped down to bodywork. Everything which is chunky and weighs quite a lot in them is obviously taken out in these cars. And I mean, how much? It's a daft question to ask. How much weight is actually extracted from these? I take it they are literally just the body, any strengthening that needs to be done, and the engine. Really, at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, when you look at these GT3 cars with the Blackman series, they look like commercial cars that you can buy with a little bit of a modification to it, but they are nothing of the sort. They are completely different. Some of the cars that I work in real life, I joke with the drivers, they feel like death traps. They're basically the roll cage and the engine right in front of you. So they're completely different. They're completely stripped of their weight.
Awesome stuff. So we're lap 7 in with 44 minutes to go. We've currently got Jake Moore in P1, 2.7 seconds now behind Marco Moyes, really creating a gap. Marco Moyes has got this man, Oliver Curtin, behind him in the Bentley GT, only 0.8 seconds. But Oliver Curtin also has Don Jordan now, which is 0.7 seconds behind him. Now, let's just go and have a look at Don Jordan, which is right behind him now. Now, this is a man I mentioned a lot about in the last race, and I found it really unfortunate that he went the way he did. However, he's seeking revenge this time. He's right behind Curtin now, and I think this could be one to watch. I think he might even have, right here, Zerax, coming up to Stowe, I believe. He might even have to go on him. It looks like he's going to. Let's just follow on board. Is Jordan going for it? He just almost got nicked off, and that was close. But is he going to go into here? Is he going to go for another go? He's not. Is he trying? He might be going on the outside, but he just hasn't got it. Curtin's placed himself in a really nice position there, and that's another thing about placement, isn't it, Zerax? These guys who are racing in the top 5, top 10, they know exactly how to place their cars and exactly how to make themselves wide as hell.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And one thing that they really understand, too, is the importance of getting on throttle early. If you can put your car in such a position that someone has to lift right at the exit of a corner, they're going to lose 2 to 3 tenths down the straight. So they know exactly where to put the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one other mention, which we haven't really talked about, or we have talked about, is behind Jordan, which is a fascinating race. Half a second behind Jordan and Curtin at the moment. Behind those guys is Rigel, RWB Rigel. So he's also gone up the top. He's now in the top 5. He's got Kevin Cox behind him, which is 5.2 seconds behind him. So he hasn't got a massive competition behind him. Pepe Garcia's in 7th. Andy Sands in 8th. Now, what we haven't talked about either is Ryan Winch. I'd love to know what's happened to him because he is down in 19th now, Xerax.
Oh, wow. He must have had an off then. He was up to P, I believe, 6 or 5 or 6 whenever we were looking at him last.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think he has had an off. I just wanted to mention Marco Moyes' supporters. They're absolutely amazing on YouTube. These guys come in every week now, and they're all about the Moyes. They're like, "Oh, Marco, Moyes, go! Come on, Marco, Moyes, go!" And they're crazy. They love him. They absolutely love him. Marco is doing it for you today, peeps. He's in 2nd place. He's not letting Jake get away, and he's certainly making a gap between him and Oliver now. So he's doing his job, and he's doing his job well. Anyone shining out for you so far, Xerax?
Oh, no, it's a great race. Just going through the chat, so many things. I think Taz said something about Winch, so I was going through there to see if I could see maybe what happened there.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be nice. I don't know if Steve Winch, Ryan Winch's dad, I don't know if you guys all live together, but any news or updates would be great from Team Winch. That'd be good to know. So just going down the pack, John Hall is still in 9th position. He was fighting Carlos Bolanos a minute ago, but he seems to have gotten free of him a little bit at the moment. Justin Madley in 13th. He's got Xavier Eugenie all over him right now. Our good old RWB Justin Madley, currently 13th in the Lexus. And I believe, I'm not too sure what that is following him, what Eugenie's driving, Xavier's driving. We will find out in a minute. That's a BMW, isn't it? So yeah, this nice tight pack there with Beer and Moley behind as well, and Baraclow. Yeah, I do love this because I am going to try and capture some more of the midfield battles because these guys are guys not to sway away from because at the end of the day, running in 13th and having great battles in 13th is fantastic because there's 44 or there's 43 cars running in this race now. So to be 13th out of 43 is not bad at all. And hello, Mr. Charger.
Hello there, chaps.
How's it going, bud? Obviously, we've just had this discussion. Did you genuinely get stuck on a curb, or is it a bug in the game?
I think I was stuck on the curb. I've tried all sorts to get off it. I tried dropping the traction, putting the traction up, reverse, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, different gears. It just wouldn't move, wouldn't budge. I think it might be a bit of a glitchy curb, but I've never had that before. I was like, what's going on? Have I got flat tyres? Has a wheel fell off? Or I had no idea. Well,
me and Xerax were saying it can be possible. It is possible that it's going to happen, especially with how low these cars run. So, I mean, and we have seen it in races, and Beer just takes Eugenie out. Or was that Eugenie closing the gap on Beer? Did you see that, Xerax?
Oh, no, I didn't. Huge collision there, though, right there in the mid-pack where they were so close.
Just looking then, Eugenie Winch was trying to get for it around the outside of Eugenie, and Eugenie just closes the gap there as well. That was a shame. That was. I think. Do you know what? It is that old historical saying, and you two lads will know this as well, which are in the commentary with me. If you leave a gap open, it's safe to say you're going to go for it, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially with these guys that have been practicing all week and super competitive. They definitely race clean, but if the door is open, they're definitely going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, are you the same there, Charger? Are you the type of person that if the gap's there and it's good to go, you're going to do it, aren't you?
If it's safe and I'm not like, dive bombing, yeah, of course, anyone's going to go for a gap. I mean, I went for a gap there when I think Pinpoint made a mistake, which held a couple up, and I saw a good, it was safe to go through, so I took a couple of cars. I was like, yeah, that'll do. You take those chances. It's really difficult to pass on here, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to note, we have just seen Ryan Winch and Beer behind him. They have just both gone into the pits with 37 minutes to go. Now, I'm not putting a voodoo on this or anything, but Charger, do you think there's going to be rain?
There's a distinct possibility. I'm curious why they've done that there. Whether they've got a like I'd say a too dry and a wet strategy or something. I'm not sure. Maybe they're preempting rain. I don't know. It's quite early, isn't it? 37 minutes. With 30 minutes to go.
Just while we're here, that was some immense racing we saw just then from Pinpoint, and I believe I'm trying to see who he was racing now. I think it was Sean Wright and Gareth Rowlands. Rowlands and Wright, which have just gotten in front of him now, but Pinners was trying to go for a gap which might not have been there, but he's right behind Wright at the moment, going up to Stowe Corner, and we're just watching these guys racing now. This is for position of 21st, 22nd and 23rd. Rowland in 21st, Wright 22nd and Pinners 23rd. Pinners sporting the old Aston Martin, and he's just gone wide, and that, ladies and gents, is what we call commentator's curse. I'm sure I've hit you all with that at some stage, haven't I? We're just seeing Fabio now. He's trying to get his way through Pinners, and he has done. So Charger, now that you're here, I can kind of like we can ask you a question. Who do you think's got it this race? Because
it was me.
Well, apart from you, I mean, Marco Moyes looked pretty comfortable in first position, but then Jake Moore took it from him. So we don't know whether that was a mistake or not, or.
You can never discount Jake. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, there's some really quick races. I was looking at the lap times in quali. I mean, I put in 2 laps and managed a 2:02, which is my quickest ever. The car felt absolutely great. Really perfect conditions for that car, that for the Lexus. But I reckon I could have done a 2:01. I know they're doing 158s, 159s, aren't they? It's anyone's race, to be honest. If the rain comes on, it's going to be who's the best in the rain. I know I was doing some last night with Jake, and I was 4 seconds off him in the rain.
I mean, I've not done any real rain practice in Silverstone, but these guys will be running dry tyres at the moment. They will have to pit for new tyres if it starts raining, won't they?
It depends on the severity of the rain. You can get away with a light spatter running dries. There's not much, it's mildly moist. Just getting that in from Moyes, mildly Moyes.
I was going to say.
You can still run on dries, with a slightly moist track. But if it gets into the second stage of rain, I don't think there'll be a thunderstorm, but I think there might be a wet section. I think people might be coming in for wets.
Right, I'm with you. And funny enough, we were just checking there was a close gap between Helmet and the person behind, but that is Marco Moyes behind him. So the guys, we're already seeing cars starting to get lapped on the 6th lap, Charger, which I found quite fascinating actually around Silverstone, considering it's 2 minutes a lap. So that's pretty mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just a bit gutted. I felt like I could have done quite well tonight, and I don't actually know what happened. I don't even know who hit me, to be honest, and I don't know. I can't judge it without looking. Is it raining, by the way?
I don't know. I am starting to see that a little bit. Let's just see if we can go into the onboard cockpit of Helmet. That'll be the one. I can't see. Xerax, come on, you should be a professional at this. Can you see any rain?
No, I don't see any rain, but it definitely see some cloud cover on the horizon, so maybe potentially soon. That's one thing that Charger was kind of hinting at. There's always a crossover point where there is a kind of a gray area where the slicks are just as fast as the wets. So it'll be interesting to see how those pit strategies for those that pitted early, if that works out for them or not. They might be able to reap in some rewards if it starts raining at the very end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, if you guys are just tuning in right now, apart from the mental Moyes crew, listen, Jake Moore, he's now currently 4.8 seconds ahead of Marco Moyes. Now, he seems to be cruising quite nicely at the moment, lap-wise. He's on lap 13. His best lap was a 1 minute 59.298. He's currently, last lap was 2 minutes. I mean, what strikes me here is they're not really the top two, Marco Moyes and Jake Moore. That the last lap, Jake Moore did a 2-minute 3:14, and Marco Moyes did a 2-minute 3:12. So Marco Moyes is doing pretty good at the moment to keep the gap at a pretty nice distance. He's not going too far or too behind. And that's the same with Don Jordan, actually, in third position. He just did a last-minute lap of 2-minute 0.063, as well as Kevin Cox. So the top four are all lapping 2 minutes in the 2-minute sections. After that, Rigel must have had a bit of a mishap. No, Rigel didn't have a mishap. He's gone into the pits. Andy San is in the 2 minutes. Garcia's in the 2 minutes. And it's only after the top seven you start seeing 2-minute 1s, 2-minute 2s. Now, that's pretty consistent, and that's pretty crazy, really, that the top seven are pretty much they're lapping probably not even a second apart at the moment. And that pretty much shows how much practice and time these guys put in. I mean, I know that especially whenever I go into a chat and just say hello to them and that, they're always there. They're always there chatting away and talking to everyone and asking who's up for doing some practice and that. But at the moment, Xerax, he's some cars getting out of the way there for Jake pretty well. But at the moment, I think Jake Moore's currently got a healthy lead from Marco Moyes. Wouldn't you say so, Xerax?
Oh, definitely. And you got to think, what's going through Jake's mind? Is he starting to maybe rethink about how he's going to approach this race? Probably at the beginning of the race, he was, thinking about points, getting on the top three, get those points in. But right now, he's got a healthy lead in the championship. So maybe he's starting to think about being a little bit, maybe backing off just a little bit, being a little bit more consistent just to bring it home.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to give a shout out again. I always do. I got to give a shout out to Moyes' team name, Team Fuck Corona. Probably not right in your watershed right now, Xerax. We shouldn't say that. But, on a word while we say that, I hope everyone's staying safe at home, and I hope everyone's doing well through these uncertain times of madness. One thing we can all bring you is a bit of entertainment and a bit of fun while Moyes goes off track there. Just took a bit of a cut there. But yeah, we can give you a bit of fun and entertainment while the world of motorsport's gone to a halt. I hope you two, Chargers, are actually keeping safe. You well? You still happy and full of joy?
I ain't dead yet.
Yeah, we've definitely been on lockdown. So I've been working from home for the past 3 weeks. So definitely feeling the effects of Corona. But isn't it so cool that we have 50 racers on the track right now in the virtual Silverstone, from racers all over the globe right now? As we practice social distancing, it's pretty cool that we can all come together online to have some fun.
I think everyone's either sim racing or watching it tonight. Nothing else to do at the minute. There's been a lot of sim racing going on. I've seen a lot of movement on hardware. People buying stuff, because what else can you do? You might as well do something. It's either do a bit of painting and decorate and fix your car, or buy some new equipment and go sim racing.
Well, listen, I tried buying a V2.5 Fanatec thing and the wheel with it out of stock.
Yeah, I saw you say about that. I'm not surprised.
Gutted. Like, literally, I had to go ahead. She was like, let's do it. Let's get it done. Just, if it's going to make you happy, buy it. So I went to buy it and I couldn't buy it. One of the things which also makes me laugh as well is obviously the younger generation of people we watch on telly, especially I'm a avid Formula One follower. Obviously, we got the youngsters like Verstappen and Leclerc, Lando Norris. They're all doing online sim racing. And they all like their online sim racing. And even the old timers now, especially one of them, which I was quite surprised to read today on the news, Sebastian Vettel, who was totally against it and didn't want to do it, he took order of his first sim rig today. Which you can just imagine him taking order of that and thinking, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I don't know how it is in Europe, but we've actually had a lot of official series here in the United States actually take to sim racings right now. IndyCar and NASCAR are both utilizing, and they're both on lockdown right now, so they're not doing the actual races. But they're actually doing virtual races in iRacing right now. So IndyCar and both NASCAR have been bringing a lot of attention. So I could imagine a lot of those, sell out of the hardware is actually probably good for the industry. It's probably a lot of new people coming into sim racing, which will be really interesting to see what the future holds.
Absolutely.
We're not far off real life now with the simulations that are coming down, especially if you've got motion and things like that. You're never going to simulate the full racing experience, but you're never going to simulate the death part of it as well, but it's safe. But yeah, I'm just amazed how far sim racing's come, especially with your tool as well, Zach. Who would ever have thought that was 10 years ago? People would be tuning the cars like real race cars. It's just blown my mind.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely insane how realistic these sims are. There's no other games that are completely, transferable. I work with Dave Perel. He's a GT3 driver for Black Panda, Renault Ferrari team, and a lot of the data that I share with him is the same data that he actually works with his engineers. So it's very, very cool. But from Zen, from the YouTube chat said, Jay Downs is his 21st. He's never been out of the 40s till today. Go my son, 16th. And he's now down to 13th. So really good outing for him for sure.
And his livery is really cool as well. I've just tuned into him now. We're looking at James Downs. He's not having too much of a bad stint, to be honest. His best lap time's been 2:01. He's in the 2:05s at the moment. He's right behind De Vries as well, so he's actually challenging for 12th position as well. So it is great to see James Downs going right there. He must love for track. He must be absolutely loving it. Although if someone can tell me why his racing number's 839, that'd be great. It's just a bit of a random number, but I'm sure it means something to him.
Oh yeah, there's definitely probably some meaning there. I'm actually kind of curious too. Actually, the Ferrari has been kind of, if you look at the Ferraris on the field, they're actually not at the top. I'm wondering if they're starting to kind of push through right now because maybe they're a lot better at tire management than some of the other cars. A lot of these cars are probably feeling the effects of the tire wear right now, where maybe the Ferrari, if it's been managing that tire wear a little bit better, is starting to push through a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, he's just taken De Vries. So your boy James Down has just gone into 12th position. And speaking of 12th position, who's he got in front of him? He's got no other than Pinpoint, who's now made it into 11th position. 6 seconds behind Rigel, which isn't too bad. But Pinpoint's obviously going for the long game now because we're 24 minutes in. I don't think he's pitted yet. I mean, when do you expect? Do you think some of these racers are waiting for the rain? Do you think they're staying out as long as they can because they don't want to be caught out with pitting and then having to pit again a couple of minutes later?
Why wouldn't you?
No doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that's what a lot of these guys are holding out for.
Was that why wouldn't you charge or why wouldn't you wait? Well, I mean, theoretically, you could full fuel, and wait until it could happen in the last 10 minutes. So you just go in for tyres. I know some people have been putting 3/4 fuel in because obviously the fuel is sucked up by the tyre change anyway. So I set 4 different pit strategies so that I had wets with fuel, wets with no fuel, dries with fuel, dries with no fuel, so I could switch and change. It's very, very strategic, yeah, and I think a lot of people will push it because you can go a whole race on one set of tyres. We've just enforced a tyre change, obviously, to mix things up.
Because Jake Moore and Kevin Cox, Jake Moore, he hasn't pitted yet, but Marco Moyes has pitted. So Marco Moyes is now down, by the looks of it, in 8th position. Just ahead of Rigel in 9th position, actually. Don Jordan's pitted as well. Somehow, it looks like Don Jordan's managed to get ahead of Marco Moyes after the pits. Now, that's quite crucial, and that means that Don Jordan might be getting himself into 2nd position after Jake's pitting. So that could be really, really crucial. I wonder if Marco had some kind of issue with a pit stop, or maybe had an issue with other people on track. I don't know if you guys saw anything there or noticed anything.
It's dark. I can't see anything. I can't see anything
It's
in
true.
the daylight.
What is the? Because obviously me and Zarek have been waffling on in the commentators box, and there goes Jake Moore now into the pits. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll keep an eye on Pepe Garcia. We'll keep an eye on where is he? Marco Moyes as well. And so this is crucial. So this is basically for position now. If Jake Moore's pit stop takes longer than we expect, he will be behind Moyes. And just to remind people, in case you get confused like I did, this is not the start finish. He's just gone past. He's still got some places to go before he gets there. But he is going through at quite a speed. He's 2.1 seconds up on his last lap. So he's obviously got the hammer down. He's got Don Jordan in front of him. But he is now at full chuff, and I'm sure he's going to want to try and take Jake Moore, and he would like nothing more. He's flashing Anderson, obviously. He wants Anderson out of the way, one of the back markers. But as we know, the rules are he has to get past Anderson in a safe way. We don't expect the drivers to go just all of a sudden take themselves offline, because that could actually be more dangerous in the long run. He's got past Moyes. Jake Moore has come out of the pits. So we are now seeing Jake out of the pits, and he is clear, way clear of Marco Moyes. But get this, Don Jordan is right behind Jake Moore here. So, Charger, it's interesting to hear what you think of Don Jordan, because I obviously said a lot about him in the last race, and I watched him in the last race. He was a very aggressive, sprightly little driver. What do you make of him?
He's definitely up there, isn't he? He's come out of nowhere, and if you come out of nowhere and start challenging the likes of Jake Speed, then you've obviously got some skills. That's all I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. And Team Moyes are very quiet in the YouTube chat. I'm guessing they might not be happy that Moore and Jordan are so far in front of Marco right now. So Marco has got a 12-second gap from Don Jordan. So Jake and Don Jordan are absolutely dominating for P1 and P2 at the moment. It's worth mentioning that car 7762, Mad Al, guess what? He's in first.
What's the distance between him and Jake at the minute?
So the gap between him and Jake looks like it's 6.5 seconds.
Doing well, Mad Al. Check out his YouTube. He's a great guy. He does some really good streams. He's doing some on AMS too as well. He's a good racer, yeah. He's an old guy like us. Well, not you, Debo.
I'm not old yet, although I feel old now, because I am starting to give advice to people in their 20s, saying stop whinging, saying you're old.
As you do.
Yeah, it's awful now, mate. Awful. So let's follow him back on with Jake Moore and Don Jordan, because Jordan is on a mission. He's on an absolute mission. And it'll be interesting to see how they clear flak. Just going up from just viewing up from the skies, while these two are absolutely battling it out. We've got flak in front of them, which is a car that needs to be lapped. Flak would ideally, it'd be nice if he just eased off the pedal right now, but he's not going to. And Moore and Jordan, Moore probably won't like that, because he does have a very fast AMG behind him, but it looks like Jordan just got a little bit out of step there, a little bit out of place on the car, and that's allowed Moore to hopefully get a bit of breathing space between him. But no, Jordan's now free of flak, and he's going on the hunt again. Mad Al is still comfortably in front of these two, though. But I don't think Mad Al has pitted. Well, Mad Al definitely hasn't pitted yet. So just to recap on that, we now have P1 Mad Al, P2 Jake Moore, in third is Don Jordan, fourth is Marco Moyes, fifth Kevin Cox, sixth is our Chief Trackmaster Rigel, seventh Pepe Garcia, eighth Andy San, ninth Carlos Bolanos, and 10th is Oliver Curtin, with our former spotlight boy Ryan Winch from last week. He is down in 11th position at the moment.
Just on another topic there, Zach. Taz is jumping up and down asking when is your display dashboard released. I think he's throwing money at you as we talk.
Yeah, no, totally understandable. So we do have the software already in place. I'm using my prototype dash, but we've actually partnered with Turn Racing. They actually make steering wheels. A lot of people are familiar with their R8 Audi replica wheel. They're actually making a 911 RSR wheel. They're going to be making the dash for us. We're going to be partnering with them, and hopefully we've been trying to work with them with a good price. We're hoping to come in at about half the price of the Sim Precision Engineering DDDU, and it's going to be just as high quality and twice as many features. So we're hoping that we'll be able to market to everyone, but obviously there's going to be some discounts for certain people. So some future announcements to be made.
Amazing.
Nice. I've seen some of their Turn stuff. I nearly bought some of their magnetic shifters.
Oh, someone's just gone off. We can't see. I didn't see who that was, but someone just went right off. It looks like it was Anderson. It looks like it was Anderson that went off then. He managed to get it back up on the track pretty quickly, but we're just following Rigel. He just has some cars to clear, and he's got Pinpoint in front of him as well. But he's gonna want to get out of the way at some stage. Pinpoint running down in 35th position at the moment, so he's obviously lost out a little bit. I'm guessing he's recently pitted. But oh god, I almost thought he lost it then as he was going past to let Rigel through. But in the end, it was a pretty fair pass for Rigel. I mean, I'd say it could be anyone's race at the moment. I feel we need to keep watching between Jake Moore and Don Jordan, because these two are just so on it, and it must be quite nice for Jake to get some races to put him under so much pressure, especially 45 minutes in, and he's still got pressure behind him constantly, which is nice.
What's the distance between Mad Al and Jake at the minute?
Jake is now in P1, so Maddow is in the pits as we speak. He's just gone in. Charger, I want rain. When I'm
surprised. I've got a funny feeling it's going to rain in the last 10 minutes, which is really going to mess things. So I'm surprised it hasn't rained yet. Honestly, I mean, the amount of rain that's been in the practice server every time I've had a look at it, I was expecting rain. I think a lot of people were.
Absolutely, it'd be great. We just got a shout out for Scott Free, currently in 19th position, and I think, is he the only BMW driver in the league?
I think Medster is as well. Is he driving the BMW?
Yeah, that's true actually. Yep. I mean, we got to give a shout out to these guys in 19th and 20th. They're still giving each other a bloody good battle at the back. We got Scott Free followed by Rick Binnisley. I'm not sure whether Xavier's right behind him as well. So this is actually a battle for 19th at the moment. And it looks like Binnisley's quite finding that 19th position quite tasty. He wants to get by. It looks like he's a lot quicker on those brakes as well. There's nothing more worrying than seeing one of those cars come down on him. Binnisley's finding Eugenie, just try and go on the outside there, but it looks like he closed him off, and he's a lot quicker between Maggots. He's definitely a lot quicker there, and he's now back on the back of Scott Free. I'm sorry to the people who gave Scott Free a shout out, but he might find himself losing this soon.
I have to give a shout out to Greedy Me as well. We've got an agreement. If either of us passes each other, we give them a one-finger wave.
Oh, no. That was Binnisley just a little bit too...
Ooh.
No, it will be interesting. Binnisley has slowed down. I'm hoping he will wait for Scott Free, because it was an unfortunate tap, and we can see now that is Binnisley waiting for Scott Free. We're seeing some nice little racecraft there between these guys. He knows it was an unfortunate little tap. He knows it was a shame that it happened, and that's why he's just tucked in front of Scott Free. But I'm not sure whether he should be in front of Scot-free, but he's done it.
He'll probably let him past.
Yeah, absolutely. Binnesley's quite an experienced, long-time driver now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good. Very consistent racer.
And I believe he does his own YouTubing and that, or Twitching as well, doesn't he?
He does his YouTube, yeah. Look out for the bag. He calls himself the bag.
Yeah, he's always one to watch. I mean, if you guys watching the stream want to do all of that, you can watch it all in live racing now.
Yeah, there'll be multiple streams actually going on. It'd be good if you've got multiple screens, you could watch different points of view.
Absolutely. So we're still 11 minutes of the race left. We still have no rain. It's been dark the entire race. And Moore's just gotten a bit of a lead over Jordan right now. So, I mean, Zerax will be the one to know about this kind of stuff as well. I'm guessing Zerax, if Jordan's pushed his tyres quite a bit, he'll be struggling a little bit more now, and he'll be having to lay off a bit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This track is really hard on the rear left tire. Granted, it is dark, so the temperatures are going to be a little bit lower. But yeah, if you lose that rear left, you're going to have a large issue, especially when you're going through Abbey's Bend, because you really have to rely on the grip from that rear left tire there.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Check out Greedy Me on Twitch also, guys, is what Charger's just shouted out. Where is Greedy Me? I haven't... he's down in 17th at the moment. He's having himself a pretty good race as well, to be fair. He's down in 17th. He's also lapping in comfortable 2-minute 2s in Bentley GT. He's got Jody Barraclough in front of him, and behind him, Xavier Eugenie. But no, he seems to be having a pretty good race at the moment. Eugenie's just in the background there, as you can see. Not much to say. I mean, there's some of these racers, they don't get the screen time they deserve, to be honest, because they do race clean and they do race fair, and they do, they do have a pretty good race to themselves. It's the action which we're after, and actually, action-wise, Jake Moore and Jordan are getting through traffic, which I was hoping we could see, because Jordan's going to be... Medster's just giving it past by the looks of things, and Jake and Jordan are now past that group of traffic. I was just wondering whether that's what he was waiting for, whether he was waiting to pounce as they came up to all that traffic, but it looks like they've all been pretty fair and no one's lost out there. Gap's 1.3 seconds now between the P1 and P2. Down in P3, or should I say down in P4, we've got Marco Moyes. I'm not too sure what happened there, but Kevin Cox has gone into third place. Are the Moyes gang still on YouTube? I'm sure you are. But Moyes is just in the Aston Martin. Don't know whether he struggled a little bit, but he's right on the tail of Cox again now. So I'm sure he won't take too long to get his position back. But Charger, what's the conditions like? What is it like at night? Is it a lot tougher? Does it change the track dynamic completely, or?
The track felt... I mean, I don't know what it's like now, whether the temperature's changed as it's got later, but it felt really good at the start, really grippy. But, when you're in the dark and you're focusing on all these lights, you tend to go tunnel vision. I find it quite difficult. I don't like driving in the dark in real life anyway, but I was just so focused on the cars in front, and any mistakes, and focusing on the lights behind me. The lights behind you put you off a little bit because they twinkle, and it looks like, you can see it there, it looks a bit like they're flashing, but they're not.
I'm with you. Oh, so okay, so you can basically see the twinkling that we can see as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a really good point, Charger. Do you think that through your braking points and where you turn in at off a little bit just because it's nighttime now?
Oh, definitely. You can't see you're working on the apexes coming up fairly quick. You know the track, so you know where you should be braking, but it's always slightly different in the dark. Sometimes I think you can be faster because you're only looking so far ahead rather than further ahead. but it also makes it more tricky that if you do late brake, you go off a lot easier because you've completely missed the apex, if you know what I mean. When you're following cars, it's not so bad because you're reacting to what they're doing in front of you. It's actually easier to follow someone in the dark than it is to be on your own. I'd rather be behind than in front.
Just looking now, I thought that we might have seen an overtake by Moyes going coming down Brooklands, but he hasn't done it yet. He's been pretty clean, these two guys. It's pretty good racing between Cox and Moyes. They are both lapping in the 159s as well, so they're pushing each other quite hard here. And it's great racing so far between these guys. We've got 6 minutes to go. I don't think we're going to see any rain. It's pretty. If it's going to come, it might not make too much of a difference, or it might make a dramatic ending to the race. But at the moment, we certainly can't see anything coming down or anything on the track, especially if we go on board. Can't see anything on board there with Kevin Cox, so it's all looking pretty good and pretty safe out there for the races so far.
I'm not in the race. I'd like to see an instant thunderstorm in the last 5 minutes. That would be quite interesting.
We haven't spoken about racer of match yet, have we, Xerax? Who is it going to be for you guys watching? Because we've been pretty focused on the action going down in the top 5, top 10 again. Xerax, any ideas?
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. It's really close down there in the mid pack for sure. One thing that I wanted to mention though too is talking about the rain, waiting for the rain. Winch, who was down to I think P20 at one point, did an early undercut, is now up to P11. So that undercut really paid for him, considering there was no rain coming down.
Okay. Charger, anyone who stands out to you?
I feel pressured by the Moyes crew. I mean, he did get the shout out last week, didn't he? And I think Jordan got it.
Who is this?
Moyes.
He's you can't give it.
No, he's in top 3, isn't he?
Yeah, you can't. You just can't. Oh no, he's not in the top 3. He's 4th.
Oh, is he 4th now? Okay.
Oh, so Moyes could get it. But you know what, Rigel again. I hate to say this, and I'm not just saying it because he's an RWB boy, but he does consistently move up. He's just always in the top 5. Whenever he starts a race below, he just makes it back up. But I don't know.
Yeah, but he's too smug.
Too smug.
The thing with Rigel is he's normally in the top 3, so he sort of gets the limelight anyway. We expect him to be in the top 5. Somewhere Alwyn there has just made a good point. I mean, Medicine Skull, he's in 20th now, is he? I mean, this is let's put this into context. He bought this game based on what we were saying, buy it, but his PC was a potato and he couldn't run it. And FX sent him the old stream machine, and now he can run it. And this is his first proper league race, and he's in 20th. That's some achievement, to be fair.
That is pretty good. I'm going to need Xerax's help though. It's just end off. Xerax is gone again.
Oh, what was that? Sorry.
We're just saying we were talking about Skull. He's this is his first event in ACC this week, and he's currently finishing in 20th. He's battling off Dave Crew at the moment and giving it a pretty good run for his money. We're talking about maybe him for man of the match this week.
Oh yeah, definitely. If he's only had the game for so long and he's already competing with some of the top guys, definitely one of the top contenders, I'd say.
He's only PC to run it within the last 2 weeks, and he was only told that he could be a guest racer literally 24 hours ago. So that is some feat, and he's now 19.
So I'm thinking, we've got Marco Moyes if he finishes outside of a top 3, which anything can happen. Although he is battling Kevin as we speak. We've got RWB Rigel, which always seems to get through the pack and deliver a pretty good finish, or we've got we've got Menacing Skull that has literally just found out 24 hours ago he was racing in this event, and he's been holding his own against Dave Crew and doing a pretty damn good job. Although he's just lost it, and he's racing side by side with Dave Crew now, and he's got Binnesley as well to contend with. He seems to have the inside line here. He's going to get it, and he's going to get his position back. He was in 19th. He's now in 18th. But Binnesley's on the outside. This is absolutely fantastic racing between Crew, Binnesley and Skull. But Skull has managed to get out in top out of all three of them, coming around the last corner. That's some fantastic racing there. I think Skull's just won it over for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, put it also into perspective. The guy's 17.
What?
And his racing etiquette and racecraft has come on amazingly over the last few months that he's been racing with us. He's been praised by quite a few people. He's never really had the recognition for it.
Wow. So I think, Skull?
I'll go with the flow, but yeah, I mean, Moyes, Skull, Rigel's too smug. You can't have Rigel. I'm saying that, Rigel, so you can hear it. Smug. I would expect Rigel to be in the top 3, so no, I don't think Rigel should get it. He should do better.
Right, listen, he's done it again, hasn't he? With 38 seconds left of a race, Jake Moore has driven an absolute blinder of a race. The rain holding off has probably helped these guys massively as well. We've got 20 degrees on track, cloudy weather. We've got 1 minute 59.7. This guy is still lapping in. He's now a good 8.8 seconds away from Jordan, where Jordan has created Jordan did give him a good old battle, but that battle's pretty much over now. As per usual, lads, Jake Moore has come off on top again. Just having a check if Don Jordan's actually racing against Cox, but no, he's just coming round a few. He's got 4 or 5 corners left to go as well, and Jordan's definitely done a much better race this week. I think he's made up for his downfalls in the Hungaroring. He's definitely shown himself this week, and it's a well-deserved second position. But we're just seeing Jake Moore come around the first few corners, last corners now. And here he is, our race winner for the next round at Silverstone. 44 cars we started with. He's going to be happy with that. That's Jake Moore just about to finish. There we go, lads. P1 by a long shot as he gives a cheeky flash. He can take another deep breath now. Jordan not too far behind him. P2, well-deserved again. Behind him, guess what? He's still got... This guy has been absolutely racing his heart out as he's got a very aggressive Marco Moyes behind him, but he's managed to fight him off and he's managed to come into third place. Kevin Cox will be very happy with that, especially as that's going to help him massively in his championship. Moyes in 4th position in the end. Rigel will be coming up. He's coming up to the last corner. Again, Rigel's done absolutely fantastic this week to get to where he has gotten. He'll be really happy with that. Pepe Garcia. We haven't spoken much about Pepe Garcia, but he's had another pretty sound, stable race, and he's happy with that again, back in 6th position. Oliver Curtin, not far behind him in 7th position. Andy San and Carlos Bolanas as well in 8th and 9th position. Moly in 10th position in the Audi, followed by Ryan Winch. 11th position there, Ryan. Not too bad this week. You can't feel too bad. I'm sure something happened. We just don't know what. Maddow in 12th. Jody Barraclough in 13th. Justin Madley is coming round the last corner. Justin Madley's got John Hall right on his tail and Anderson in front of him. Currently, he's going to get 14th, Madley is, and Hall in 15th. Greedimi is in 16th position. That's an absolute well-deserved victory there. Xavier Eugenie going down in 17th position. Menacing Skull, our racer of a match, is in 18th position in the end. Dave Crew in 19th. RWB Beer in 20th. We'll go through the rest of them now, ladies and gents, boys and girls, and bring the timetable up as well. In 21st, Scott Free, 22nd, Isaacs, 23rd, John D, 24th is RWB Audi, 25th, Helmet, 26th, Rolands,